And talented and sexy and pregnant. Not by me. Rachel Luttrell.
And last but not least, we have the stunning, the muscular, the charming, the magnificent Christopher Judge! Woo! Thank you.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, I think that was mine.
Times I didn't have a lot of dialogue, and back then, especially early on, I would indulge in a couple of cocktails after work for maybe 8 hours till I had to go back to work. So I really wanted to be more invested in the series. So I had asked Brad if I could write an episode. Well, actually, it started off with pitching an episode. So the first episode that I pitched and wrote the story for was The Warrior. And so that went pretty well. So I asked him if I could write an entire episode, but not the way that most of our episodes usually come about, which is a group of writers in the room spitballing, really breaking down the entire episode by beats and by scenes. And then, so what you do as a writer is you just fill in the dialogue. I really wanted to see if I could write an entire episode, and so I pitched Changeling to Brad. He liked it and said, okay, go write it. So I wrote it, and truly, Shanks had left the show, and I knew I wanted to write an episode that brought Shanks back, and I knew as a kid I wanted to ride in a fire truck, and that was the genesis of the episode. I wanted to ride in a fire truck. I wanted to slide down the pole, not what you're thinking. I wanted to...
Don't look at me.
And I wanted to do the sirens and the horns. So I knew I had to do that in this episode, or I might never be able to do that. So that truly was pretty much my entire inspiration for writing The Changeling.
That's adorable.
Breathing is when Teal could meditate. Does everyone know how that came about? So as I previously stated, I had a lot of late nights when we first started. So without much to say, I often found it hard to stay awake. So it came, if you ever watch the first episode that the J.R. Bourne, what was he? What was, no, yeah, but what was his people? The Tok'ra, yeah. Okay, wait, don't get so mad, it was 14 years ago. The Tok'ra! So Sarah Douglas, who played the head Tok'ra, you know Sarah Douglas from Superman, all that, wonderful lady, wonderful storyteller, kept us laughing for hours as we wait for the setup. So her introductory scene, her first day on set, she has a 5-page monologue. So she sits up there, finally ready to go, everything's all blocked, ready to shoot. Action. Line. So we all start laughing because we think she's joking. So they give her the line, members of SG-1. So she says, members of SG-1. Line. So we all started looking at each other, hoping that this was a joke. She didn't know one word of a 5-page monologue. So as you can imagine, I found it hard to stay awake. But because it took so long to shoot her coverage, they only had, they couldn't shoot close-ups of us. They had to shoot 2 and 3 shots. So the only shot that I'm in, Amanda is talking. And if you look over her shoulder, I'm actually against the wall like this. So, but they had no choice because they needed Amanda's dialogue, so they had to use that. So the next episode, we were in the briefing room, and this is all getting to a point. We were in the briefing room, and I believe it was Peter DeLuise's first episode that he directed. So I'm asleep in my chair, and this is during a scene, and all I hear is, "Christopher, what are you doing?" It's like, "What?" Like literally, "What?" He's like, "You're sleeping." It's like, "I'm not sleeping. I'm concentrating." Have you not read? Teal'c has left his people. He's left his wife. He's left his child. Why would Teal'c care about what these Earth people are talking about? So the next episode, and I said, he's meditating. He's thinking about the things that he has to do. So, okay. So the next episode, the writers wrote in that Teal'c meditates, and they called it Kelno Reaming. That's how Kelno Reaming came about.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story about the first time we ever traveled?
I don't even remember it. What story is that? Wait, what story?
The first time you guys went to Comic-Con?
Oh, come on. What part of that story are you going to tell? Christopher Judge.
Come on!
Go for it, okay? I have no idea.
So we've never traveled together. And, you know, Rachel has a wonderful body, obviously, of course, right? And that's not disrespectful, that's just an observation. So we're getting, so for what I don't remember what you were carrying, but we're boarding the plane. So and I am behind Rachel, and it's our first, and we really don't really know each other.
No.
And so she has on these pants that are too loose for her, but she's got a handful of stuff. So she's walking up the stairs of the plane, and her pants fall down.
They did not fall down! They did not fall down! No, they didn't! No, they didn't! They didn't! They crept down! They crept! And they were only slightly,
Okay,
they were
yeah,
only like
instead of
slightly
this.
low. Oh, come on, Chris. Stop it! They did not fall off. My pants did not fall off. They might have revealed a little bit.
Mostly down.
Oh, stop. No. They revealed a little bit of...
Yeah, a little bit of your whole booty.
That was the very first time I heard the line, which has only been delivered from you, Chris.
What?
I hate to see, what is it? No. I hate to say goodbye, but I love to see you leave. That's what I heard. I turned around and yanked up my pants.
Reverend Madcap. Ben is a brilliant guy, and he comes across with this southern drawl, but he's smart as a whip, but he talks nonstop. So at first it just drove us crazy, because Ben would talk during scenes, after scenes, setting up for scenes, call you driving home even though you just left him 30 seconds ago, call you all during the night, call you first thing in the morning, all about ideas for scenes. Like, Ben, you're calling the wrong cat, I haven't read the script. Like, I don't know, man, you know. But then it really, you just, okay, I personally just really started loving the guy because he cared so much. And he really cared about the show, and he really put just a ton of work into it, and his work ethic was just unrivaled. And I really, really came to love the guy. I mean, it was a lot different way of working. It was a lot different way of working than with Rick, because with Rick it was a lot looser ship, and a lot of it, and I think maybe it rubbed off on you guys too, was that I think our producers were determined to try to rein us in as a cast because we had so much, and I think control is the wrong word, but we had so much input into our characters and into that I think they just wanted to kind of tighten the ship down a little bit, and so Ben and I think a lot of your cast had the same kind of, and I don't want to sound demeaning because I don't mean it at all, but they were kind of put a muzzle on kind of about expressing their creativity and expressing their ideas. They, the show was such a machine that they just wanted it to be that way, and I think that kind of frustrated Ben a lot, because he did have so many ideas and was such a hard worker. So that's kind of the way, and not to say that Rick wasn't, but Rick liked to just find stuff. Ben came prepared with stuff, and that was kind of the main difference.
So good, it lasts eternally. Perfect situations must go wrong, but this has never yet prevented me.
And it was very much an homage to the Egyptian type, and even if you listen to the first, when the pilot or the early episodes, when it first came out, not the remastered one because I revoiced the entire performance, but I was doing an homage to Yul Brynner as in The King and I, and it very sounded like it really was. I was bred to serve, not to blah blah blah. So I was literally doing Yul Brynner, and then I just heard myself one day. I was like, this is ridiculous. So that's when, and then but I just thought there was just things that could change, and one was because him being gold was him being the first prime of Apophis, and him showing physically that he was the #1 guy in the service of Apophis, right? So I wanted the gold to leave earlier. We had a lot of stuff that we wanted to do quicker. But MGM, because of certain licensing things that they wanted to do, like the figures, all the Teal'c figures have staff weapons, so that's why I had to carry a staff for 3 years, because MGM didn't think the fans would be able to tell who Teal'c was without the staff. Wow. Like, without the staff, which one's Teal'c? The black one. I mean, but there was all kinds of stuff like that. So they were very resistant to the gold leaving. They were very resistant to me growing hair. They were very resistant to a lot of things. Just them thinking that the audience would suddenly be confused as to who was who. So that's kind of why things were paced out in a certain way, because it would take a year of asking MGM to do stuff, or if it was okay before they would finally approve it. So that's kind of.
And I think that's it, you guys.
One more?
I think we have to. Oh, is there? No, that's it.
What if we just decided to stay? Ooh, the three. Now, this has been a humdinger.
It has.
This has been a great experience with you.
God.
What? I just gave you a
What's
compliment.
that snort?
It's humid. I don't know.
It's humid. All right, I'm reading too much into it. It's been a lot of fun with you too, sweetie.
Oh,
I love hanging out. And it's been great hanging out with you guys, and thank you for your questions, and thank you for your support throughout the years. We appreciate it so, so much. Really, really.
Yeah, thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
I love you. So remember, July 12th, there'll be a big announcement, so we hope we all like it.